$56. That's the raise the letter promised this year. By the time it hit the account, $38. That letter went to your house. Nobody asked you about the missing 18. Most folks are watching Congress for one big scary cut. Wrong direction. 9 cuts are already running, and number 1 is the biggest of all, already written into the law. No vote required. Number 9. Did you work past 60? A lot of us did. A lot of us had to. So here's something almost nobody knows about how your benefit gets calculated. Social Security takes your 35 best earning years and adjusts the older ones up for inflation. So a paycheck from 1985 counts fairly against a paycheck from 2015. Makes sense. Except the adjusting stops completely at age 60. Everything you earn from 60 on goes into the formula at face value. No inflation adjustment. Ever. If prices jump 20% between your 60th birthday and the day you retire, the formula pretends that never happened. Why? Because the formula was built in the 1970s, before modern computers, and freezing the math at 60 made the arithmetic easier. That's it. That's the entire reason. Nobody ever went back and fixed it. Took me a minute to believe that one. Millions of people working into their late 60s, and those final hard-earned years get counted with 50-year-old math that was designed to save somebody some pencil work. Number 8. The strategy they took away from married couples. Before 2015, couples had a legal way to coordinate their benefits. It worked like this. The higher earner could file at full retirement age and immediately suspend, let their own benefit keep growing 8% a year, while their spouse collected a spousal benefit in the meantime. For a typical couple, that bridge income was worth around $24,000 over 4 years. Perfectly legal, written into the rules. Then, Congress killed it. And here's the part that bothers me. There was no debate you were part of, no hearing on what it would mean for married retirees. They buried it inside the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, a giant spending package, and used the savings to offset other spending. If you were born after January 1st, 1954, the door is closed. No exceptions, no appeals. $24,000 per couple, removed from millions of retirement plans by a paragraph in a bill almost nobody read. Number 7. The goalpost that moved while you weren't looking. For decades, full retirement age was 65. In 1983, Congress pushed it to 67. But here's the clever part. They phased it in over 40 years. The politicians who made that decision knew the pain wouldn't land until they were long retired themselves. If you were born in 1960 or later, that choice from before cable news finally caught up to you. Here's what it means in dollars. You can still claim at 62, but the penalty got steeper because the gap you're bridging got wider. Claim at 62 now, and your check is permanently cut 30%. A benefit that would have been $1,000 a month becomes $700 forever. And every cost of living raise you get for the rest of your life is calculated on that smaller number, so the gap never closes. It compounds. I think this was the smartest political move on this whole list, and I don't mean that as a compliment. Pass the cut. Delay it 4 decades. Take none of the blame. And be honest with yourself. How many people do you know who claimed at 62 because their knees gave out, or the plant closed, or nobody would hire them at 63? That 30% wasn't a choice for them. It was a trap that was set in 1983. Number 6. The penalty for working. Picture a widow, 63 years old. Her husband's gone, the bills aren't, so she claims her Social Security early, about $12,000 a year, and takes a job at a retail store making $35,000. She's doing everything right. Working, not asking anybody for anything. Social Security takes back $5,260 of her benefits that year. It's called the Retirement Earnings Test. If you claim before your full retirement age and keep working, there's an earnings limit, $24,480 in 2026. Go over it, and they withhold $1 of benefits for every $2 you earn above the line. Now, they do credit that money back into your formula later, once you reach full retirement age. But when you're 63 and choosing between the light bill and the pharmacy, you'll get it back in 4 years, doesn't buy groceries. And here's the history that makes it worse. This rule was written in the 1930s, on purpose to push older workers out of jobs so younger men could have them. That was the actual goal. Congress repealed it for people at full retirement age back in 2000. The month you hit that age, the limit disappears completely. But they left it in place for early claimers, which means the penalty for working now falls almost entirely on the seniors who can least afford to stop. Here's what I think that says. The system still treats a working senior like a problem to be managed, 90 years later. Number 5, the $1 cliff. There's a Medicare surcharge called IRMAA. If your income crosses certain lines, your Part B premium jumps. And I mean jumps, because this isn't like a tax bracket where only the money above the line gets touched. This is a cliff. $1 over, and your entire premium resets higher. Here are the 2026 numbers. A single retiree with income of $109,000 pays the standard Part B premium, $202.90 a month. A retiree with $109,001 pays $284.10, plus a new surcharge on their drug plan. That $1 extra of income costs them roughly $1,150 over the year, and it gets you 2 years late. The surcharge is based on your tax return from 2 years back, so the year you sold the house, or converted a 401k, or cashed something out to help a kid, that year follows you. Plenty of people get the letter and have no idea what triggered it. I read that bracket table twice before the 2-year look-back part clicked for me. One more piece. The brackets were frozen, deliberately not adjusted for inflation, from 2011 to 2019 to help pay for other legislation. So ordinary inflation pushed ordinary retirees over a cliff that was built for the wealthy. There's a defense for this one. I'll give it to you before we're done. Number 4, the wrong yardstick. Your annual raise, the cost of living adjustment, is calculated using an inflation index called the CPI-W. That index tracks the spending of younger working people, heavy on gasoline, clothes, electronics, light on the things that actually eat a retiree's budget, healthcare and housing. The government knows this. The Bureau of Labor Statistics built a second index back in 1988, the CPI-E, specifically to track what people over 62 actually spend. For 2026, the official COLA came in at 2.8%. Under the senior index, one advocacy group calculates it would have been 3.1. Small gap, but it compounds year after year because every raise builds on the last one. The Senior Citizens League estimates the average person who retired in 1999 has lost around $5,000 of benefits to this mismatch. Now, let me be straight with you, because that's what we do here. Those numbers come from advocacy groups, not the government, and some economists point out the gap between the two indexes has actually narrowed in recent years. Some years, the senior index is even lower. So this one isn't a robbery. It's a slow leak, and the size of the leak is genuinely debated. But here's the part that isn't debated. Congress has had a senior-specific yardstick sitting on the shelf for almost 40 years and has never once voted to use it. Ask yourself why. Number 3, the November letter. Remember the $56 from the very top of this video? Time to show you where the other 18 went. Every year, late November, that envelope shows up. Congratulations, your benefit is going up 2.8%. And then, a line or two down, the same letter takes some back. Your Medicare Part B premium comes straight out of your check before you ever see it. And in 2026, that premium jumped 10%, up $17.90 a month to $202.90. Do the math on that letter. $56 raise, $17.90 gone before it lands. Nearly a third of your COLA, vaporized in the same envelope that announced it. Your groceries went up. Your insurance went up. Your raise after Medicare is about $38. Nobody votes on this. The premium is set by a formula. It has to cover 25% of the Part B program's costs. So when outpatient care and expensive new drugs get pricier, the bill lands on every senior in America automatically. Since 2000, that premium has grown from eating about 5% of the average check to about 9%. Millions of people now spend a tenth of their entire income on this one premium. There's no scandal to point at here, no villain holding a press conference, just a formula, running quietly, taking a little more each year. Number 2, the tax that was never supposed to reach you. When Social Security benefits first became taxable in 1984, the promise was clear: this only hits the wealthy. If your income was under $25,000 as a single person, $32,000 for a couple, you paid nothing. And back then, $25,000 was real money. Fewer than 1 in 10 retirees paid a dime. Here's what happened next. Those thresholds were written in fixed dollars, and they have never been adjusted for inflation, not once in over 40 years. $25,000 in 1984 is about $75,000 in today's money, but the line never moved. So every year, ordinary inflation drags more ordinary retirees over it. Today, more than half of the families getting Social Security pay federal income tax on it. And for those who pay, the typical bite is 11 to 12% of their benefits. Now, the official record from 1983 doesn't use words like trap or stealth tax. It talks about raising revenue and shoring up the program. But here's what that record does show. Adjusting those thresholds for inflation was considered. It was discussed. The analysts knew that leaving the lines frozen meant more retirees would cross them every single year, automatically, forever. They saw exactly where this was headed, and Congress chose the frozen version anyway. Then, in 1993, they did it again, added a second tier, taxing up to 85% of benefits, and froze those lines too. So here's my read, and I'll own it as my read. When you know inflation will raise taxes on more seniors every year without anyone having to cast another vote, and you pick that option on purpose, the polite word is revenue policy. I'd use a different word. Now, some of you are already typing in the comments. Wait a minute, didn't they just get rid of the tax on Social Security? I heard it on the news. So let's clear that up, because the headline and the law are two different things. What passed in 2025 was not no tax on Social Security. The tax is still there. The frozen lines are still frozen. What seniors got instead was a temporary deduction, $6,000 per person, $12,000 for a couple, that knocks down the tax bill for a lot of middle-income retirees. And look, if it's saving you money right now, take it. It's real money. But read the fine print with me. It expires after 2028. It starts shrinking once your income passes $75,000, and it never touched the actual machine. Those 1984 thresholds are still sitting there, never adjusted for inflation, pulling more people over the line every single year. So in 2029, the deduction vanishes, and the machine is still running. One more thing they don't say out loud. That deduction gets paid for somewhere. Social Security's own number crunchers say the lost tax money moved the trust fund's empty date up by about 6 months. Remember that when we get to number 1. Because the fix for this cut made the biggest cut on this list come faster. Number 1. The 22% cut that's already law. Everything else on this list shaves your check at the edges. This one takes a piece out of the middle, and it does not require a single vote to happen. Social Security is legally forbidden from borrowing money. It can only pay out what it collects plus what's saved in its trust fund. For years, the program ran surpluses. Not anymore. The retirement trust fund is now being drawn down, and the government's own trustees project it hits empty in 2032, 6 years from now. When it does, the law is automatic. Benefits drop to whatever payroll taxes can cover. That's about 78 cents on the dollar. A 22% cut across the board for every retiree in America overnight. For the average check, that's around $500 a month. For a typical couple, over $18,000 a year. Gone. Now, the honest version, because you deserve it. Your checks don't stop in 2032. They drop. And if Congress combined the retirement fund with the disability fund, the cut would be smaller, closer to 17%, and land around 2034 instead. That's still an automatic cut, but it's not the end of Social Security. And anyone telling you the program vanishes is lying to scare you. Here's the other thing the doom merchants leave out. We have been here before. In 1983, this exact trigger was bearing down on the country. The trust fund was projected to run dry that July. Congress passed the fix in April, about 3 months before the wall. Ugly, last minute, but they did it. And that's not ancient history. Just last year, Congress finally repealed 2 rules that had been cutting the checks of teachers, firefighters, and police officers for 40 years. More than 3 million people got their money back, hundreds of dollars a month for some. It took 4 decades of pressure, but pressure worked. One thing on that. If it's your family, spouses who never applied for benefits because the old rules would have zeroed them out have to file an application to get the fix. It's not automatic, and there's a time limit on back pay. If that's you or someone you know, the application goes in this week. Why does the pressure work? Because Social Security supports nearly 70 million Americans, retirees, widows, disabled workers, their families, and tens of millions of them vote. That is the one force in Washington neither party can afford to ignore. I think that's how this goes again, not because Congress is brave, because you vote and they know it. The real question is whether they act early, when the fix is cheaper, or wait until 2034, when the trustees' own numbers say it takes a 29% cut or a massive tax hike to balance the books. Every year of delay, the price of the repair goes up. That's the thing to watch, and the thing to raise every single time someone asks for your vote between now and 2032. And while Washington decides, here are 2 more things you can do this week. Real things, not slogans. First, if money is tight, call your state Medicaid office and ask about Medicare savings programs. If you qualify, the state pays that Part B premium we talked about at number 3. At 2026 rates, that's over $2,400 a year back in your pocket. And huge numbers of eligible seniors never apply because nobody told them. Second, if you got hit with that IRMAA surcharge from number 5 after retiring, losing a spouse, or another major life change, file Form SSA 44. It's an appeal. It tells Social Security to use your income now, not your income from 2 years ago. People win these every day. Because here's what all 9 of these have in common: frozen lines, old formulas, delayed triggers. Every one of them was written down by somebody, somewhere, who counted on you never reading the fine print. The whole machine runs on you not knowing. And you just spent 20 minutes learning exactly how it works. That's not nothing. That's the one move they never planned for. So tell me, did the November letter get you this year? Did Medicare eat your raise, or did a surcharge show up out of nowhere? Drop it in the comments and tell me your state. I read every single one, and the stories you all share down there are half the reason this channel exists. And if this video showed you something you didn't know, make sure you're subscribed. It's the round red button right under this video. Tap it once, and you'll get the next one when it drops. Because next time, we're looking at where the money that left your check actually went. This is EconoNova. Keep an eye on the price of milk.